I'm going to be giving you my personal votes if I were an Oscar voter. Now, don't read too much into this. I know some people say that, movies should win Oscars that will, like, transcend time and stuff, but it's like, we don't really know that. Like, we can never know for sure. Like, sure, yes, The Social Network is still very relevant today, but like, who's talking about Spotlight? Hell, even like, if people were like, oh man, Roma's going to be more remembered than Green Book in years to come, and while I think Roma is fantastic, and if it won Best Picture, I would not have complained. No one really talks about Roma. It's kind of a moot point to say that, oh, a movie should win this because it's going to be remembered for years to come. Like, no, just go with what you want to win. I just feel like if you're not voting for something based on what you personally thought was the best, you're not being honest to yourself. And this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be honest to myself.
We interrupt this programming to tell you that channel memberships are open. For $2 a month, you can get members-only video content, from reading your comments, special editorials, small awards, season updates, and more. Other perks include weekly members-only live streams, exclusive emojis, badges, and even access to my members-only Discord server. You also get your name to appear in my videos as a special thanks for your support. With your help, we can conquer the Oscar space on YouTube and rule over all. Remember, Uncle Chris needs you.
So yeah, we're gonna start off with Best Picture. How would I vote here? Now, when it comes to Best Picture, it is a preferential ballot, meaning you have to rank them 1 to 10. And I have now finally seen all these movies, and going from like 10 to 1, they would be at 10 is going to be Anora. It's like the worst film in Best Picture, in my opinion. Again, I know a lot of people disagree, but I just found it to be very unfunny as a comedy, very annoying. It's just like, it's just too much. It's just too much for me. I just couldn't stand that film. Next would be Emilia Perez. I'm just kind of lukewarm on it at this point. Like, when I first watched it, I was like, oh wow, this is actually really good, but then there's like some of the more problematic elements of it that started to come to light, and it's like, nah, man. So at this point, it's like, I'm just like lukewarm on it. It's like, I don't care anymore. Then the next one up would be a pretty significant jump to A Complete Unknown. This is pretty good. It's a pretty good film. It's a good 7 out of 10 for me. It's not like incredible. Like, it's not, I don't even think I would give it any wins. Probably not. But, like, it's solid. It's a good, solid film. Yeah. Then the next one up would be I'm Still Here, which this is where we get to the great films. Like, I'm Still Here and up, like these are the great films. I'm Still Here is fantastic, and I saw a lot of scary parallels to our current U.S. political matters. But yeah, Fernanda Torres is fantastic in the film. We'll talk about her later on. And the film is just such a really interesting scope of like time and how long it took for this woman to get this whole issue resolved. It's a very powerful film. And then number 6 would be Nickel Boys. I really liked the direction of this film. And obviously the cinematography is very, very good too. The writing's very good. It's just overall a very strong film. Like, seeing the perspective from these boys when they go to a school and they see all this racist mistreatment that they see and experience, it's heartbreaking to watch. At number 5, I would put in The Brutalist. I mean, good God. I mean, what more can I say about this film? I mean, it is an insane achievement for such a small budget. I mean, the sets are huge. The performances are very, very good. The fact that this did not get an ensemble nomination at SAG is just like, what are we doing here? Even the editing, surprisingly, like, given how it really didn't get a lot of editing precursors, like, the editing is very good. So, yeah, and again, given how it's a 3.5 hour long film, I am surprised that I was able to be engrossed in it as much as I was. And then we get to the full-on 10 out of 10s, all right? And we're going to start off with number 4, The Substance. My God, this movie is crazy. Like, if there's ever, like, a film that was just like, yeah, this is, like, a crazy, like, so well-executed original idea, it is The Substance. It is disturbing. All the performances are all amazing. The makeup, the editing. Oh my God. This is exactly the kind of crazy shit that I love. Number 3, and yeah, this is probably where people are going to go, oh God, really? Sorry, But number 3 is Wicked. Wicked's really freaking good. All right. Actually, no, it's not just really good. It's fantastic. This is everything I love musical adaptations to be. Like, the production is insane. The performances are all fantastic. And while, yes, you could, criticize the lighting of the film and how there's not as much color popping out, the camera movement is still fantastic. I mean, my God, like, there are so many scenes that just stick out in my head, and, like, I was just glued from the screen just from the No One Mourns the Wicked scene. Like, that's all I needed to be convinced that this was going to be a fantastic film, and that scene never, like, escaped the back of my mind throughout watching this film. It was almost like watching a train collapse in on itself. I don't even know if I'm really, like, phrasing that correctly, but it's always like when you see the beginning of this film, it's like you know what's coming. Granted, I've not seen the full Wicked show, so maybe I don't know the full story, but if knowing my knowledge from The Wizard of Oz has anything to do with it, it's like, God, the beginning just, like, really, like, sticks out in my head even more. Like, oh, God. And number 2 is Conclave. I thought this is probably the most well-written film of the year. The dialogue is sharp. The story is fantastic. The pacing is so good. It makes for, like, a really fantastic rewatch. The music is amazing. I just love Conclave. This is exactly that kind of classic Oscar bait that I am a big fan of, so hell yeah. And then number 1, oh my God, number 1, how is Dune not winning Best Picture? My God, this is, like, one of the best films of the decade. The Dune movies are just some of the best films of this current decade. I'm just like, how are they not even close to winning this Best Picture? This is insanity. Dune Part 2 is such an insane achievement in direction. It's like everything I love about blockbusters and sci-fi, what you can do with them. It is just like, so good. So yeah, my pick for Best Picture would be Dune Part 2. Moving on to Best Director, we have Anora, Sean Baker, The Brutalist, Brady Corbet, A Complete Unknown, directed by James Mangold, Emilia Perez, directed by Jacques Audiard, and The Substance, directed by Coralie Farge. Now, this is tough because, like, I think the only one I would have nominated here would be, like, Brady Corbet. I guess I'd go for him, but, like, no Denis Villeneuve, that sucks. No Robert Eggers for Nosferatu, which, okay, granted, that was never gonna happen. That was never a realistic expectation. But still, it's just Denis Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve should absolutely be here for Dune Part 2. He should be winning, and the fact that he's not really sucks. So I guess, like, by process of elimination, I would go with Brady Corbet for The Brutalist, which, again, The Brutalist is very well directed as well. I mean, good God, it made my, top 10 films of all. Actually, no, it made it made the top half of my Best Picture ranking. So yeah, I really do not want Sean Baker to win Best Director, but given that DGA win, it looks like he's just going to. Original Screenplay, the nominees are Anora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5, and The Substance. I would only nominate The Brutalist and The Substance here. Like, this was not a very strong category in my opinion. But I would probably vote for The Substance. I mean, my God, like, again, like I said before when I was talking about it for Best Picture, this is an insane achievement in, like, creating this really fun original story that just keeps building on top of itself. I think it's just so well executed in its story, and again, the dialogue is not even really that bad. Like, I don't know why people say, "Oh, it has bad dialogue." It's like, I don't think it has bad dialogue at all. It's fine. But again, screenplays are more than just the dialogue. It is also about the story structure, and I just thought the story and The Substance was just that fascinating. Adapted screenplay. The nominees are A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Nickel Boys, Sing Sing. This is a pretty good category. I would take out Emilia Perez and A Complete Unknown and replace them with, like, Dune Part 2 and Nosferatu. But still, yeah, this is tough because I really do love Sing Sing's screenplay. Sing Sing was very well written, but I have to go for Conclave here. Conclave is, again, it's the best written film of the year, period. If there were just one screenplay category, The Conclave should win this. So I'm gonna go with that. Actress in a leading role. The nominees are Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez, Mikey Madison for Anora, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. Well, I mean, if you remember in my earlier Oscar predictions, before the whole Emilia Perez situation just went downhill, I was saying I think Carla Sofia Gascon should win. Not anymore. I mean, fuck her. But, however, this is tough actually, because I was also rooting for Demi Moore to win for The Substance, especially after the Carla Sofia Gascon tweets came out. But then I saw I'm Still Here, and I'm like, oh my god, Fernanda Torres probably should win this. Like, she, again, is fantastic in the film. This is such a long, like, scope of a performance. Again, this takes place over the course of decades, and she's just absolutely fantastic in this. There's a lot going on in the story that gives her a lot of meat to chew on. Again, I would be so happy if Demi Moore won as well. As long as we just don't get any Anora wins, I am good. Or maybe not Carla Sofia Gascon either. But still, actor in a leading role. The nominees are Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Ray Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. Now, this is kind of tough between three performances, in my opinion. It's tough between Adrian Brody, Coleman Domingo, and Sebastian Stan. First of all, Adrian Brody, again, he's in a lot of The Brutalist. Like, he is so good. Again, this is another one of those performances where it's like the scope of the performance is like astonishing. You also have Coleman Domingo, which is probably one of the most personal performances of the year. Like, my god, his heart was just out there in his performance. And also Sebastian Stan in The Apprentice. I'm not gonna lie, I was very invested in his portrayal of Donald Trump. If the performance of Donald Trump did not work, The Apprentice would not work. And the fact that Sebastian Stan actually was able to make it work and not have it be like a cartoon, like, that says a lot, especially around the ending. The ending is like a really chilling monologue. So this is really tough. I could maybe change my mind later on, but right now I'll go with Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing. I mean, again, his heart was just out there in that film. I just think, like, Sing Sing really should have gotten more love. And Coleman Domingo, like, if Sing Sing was in Best Picture, I think there would be an argument to be made that Coleman Domingo could have won. But that's just not the reality we live in, because the world hates me. Actress in a supporting role. We have Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I probably would go with Ariana Grande here. Like, she was literally born for this role. Like, good God, you could not have cast anyone more close to Glinda than, you know, Ariana Grande. Like, my God, she was just she sold me on the performance immediately during No One Mourns the Wicked. Like, that look on her face, I'm just like, oh, there's a lot in that performance. Like, holy shit. It's external in the best ways, it's internal in the best ways. This performance was just fantastic. Then we get to actor in a supporting role. We have Yura Borisov for Anora, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce for The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. Not a very strong category, in my opinion. Not a very strong category. No, Clarence Macklin should be taking this in a handbasket, and he's not even nominated. Like, that sucks. I actually would not go for Kieran Culkin. I like A Real Pain. I like Kieran Culkin in it, but that film just did not stick with me. It just did not really stick with me. And I was just like, all right, it was kind of like one ear out the other. Again, I enjoyed myself while watching that, but, you know, I'm not going to really remember that performance that much. So, and if I'm going to be honest, the only ones I would nominate would be Guy Pearce and Edward Norton. Now, Jeremy Strong, like, he was very good in The Apprentice, but I would not nominate him. So it is between Guy Pearce and Edward Norton. I'd probably pick Guy Pearce for this. Again, I feel like his performance was the most interesting out of the bunch. Even though Edward Norton was also very good in The Complete Unknown, he kind of had almost like this Mr. Rogers quality to him that we've never really seen from him before. And again, he was doing some stuff that I've never quite seen from him, like the singing and stuff. Like, that was very impressive too. But in the end, I would go with Guy Pearce, at least among these nominees. But again, Clarence Macklin should have been here, Then we get to cinematography, and the nominees are The Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Maria, and Nosferatu. This was not a very strong year for cinematography, in my opinion. At least, nothing in terms of, like, what I think is, like, this should, absolutely be winning. It's not even close. Like, here, it's like, there are definitely, I would probably nominate 4 out of the 5 of these. I'd probably swap out Emilia Perez with Nickel Boys, but still, I do really love Maria's cinematography. Like, that movie looks gorgeous. Nosferatu, again, looks amazing. The Brutalist looks very good, especially considering the circumstances. Maybe I would probably default to Dune Part 2, because, like, again, the movie looks gigantic, and the cinematography has a lot to play with that. The blocking is very good. It's basically like the big wide shots that really sell me. And before people go, oh, but a lot of that's visual effects, it's like you have to have an understanding of cinematography when doing visual effects. Like it's such a dumb thing anyway, because like you still need the director of photography to set up like what the shots are going to look like. So still. I'm probably going with Dune Part 2 here, because again, a lot of those, like, shots are just like, my god, just frame that, like, oh god. Then we get to film editing, and the nominees are Anora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, and Wicked. Sadly, no Dune Part 2 or The Substance should be winning here. How is The Substance not even nominated? Like, that's insane to me. So, without The Substance, I guess I'd probably go with Conclave. Again, the movie is very tight in its editing, and it's very, very, like, just briskly paced. So, I do like that about the editing in Conclave. Production design, the nominees are The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. This is a pretty easy category for me. I would go with Wicked. Dune Part 2 is definitely like a runner-up for me, but still, I can't deny, like, how impressive, like, the huge sets are in Wicked. And then costume design, it's even more clear. It is Wicked. I'm not gonna lie, like, the fact that Dune Part 2 is not on here is really, really sad. Also, no Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice should have gotten in here. But still, I'm gonna go for Wicked. Honestly, it's not even close. Makeup and hairstyling, the nominees are A Different Man, Emilia Perez, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked. This category would have been perfect, and I know this is a bit of a hot take, but I would swap out Wicked in favor of Beetlejuice. Like, the Carla Sofia Gascon transformation makeup in Emilia Perez, I thought was legitimately very impressive work. Like, she legitimately looked like a completely different person. But still, I have to go with The Substance. The Substance is definitely one of the more impressive achievements of makeup this decade. And there's a lot of it. There is a lot of it. So, yeah, I would go with The Substance here. Like, yeah. And then we get to visual effects. Oh boy. We have Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked. Probably the first time since the, 2018 Oscars, or, the movies of 2018, where, like, First Man won, and Avengers Infinity War probably should have won. But we also had Christopher Robin, that was neat. This is the first time since 2018 where I probably agreed with all the nominees. Like, I don't think Wicked's like number 5 for me. I don't want that to win visual effects, but there's still quite a bit going on in terms of the visual effects, and like, especially when you look at some of the other films that were shortlisted, it's like, these are very consistent, still breaking a lot of new ground for the most part. So yeah. And if I'm going to be completely honest, Dune Part 2 is like number 3 for me. Like, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is such a leap forward in visual effects, it's not even funny. Like, oh my god, just watch the river scene. The river scene with a bridge, all that stuff. It is insane, like, how they have the CG water interacting with the ape's fur, and it's just dripping off. It's like insane work. So Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes should be winning, like, absolutely no doubt about that, but it's not winning. It's probably number 4 to win, if I'm going to be completely honest. But the funny thing is, even though Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is my number 1 to win, again, like I said, Dune Part 2 is number 3, so what's number 2? Probably Better Man, because of how elaborate, the CG monkey Robbie Williams was. Like, there's a lot, it's not only that, but it's like, they have to do so much to, like, blend him into the environment. Like, for one, all of his clothes are CGI, and it's not just a thing where it's like, oh, they put like a CG monkey head on him and hands, and the rest of it's real. No, because like his shoulders are a lot more broad as a monkey than he would be if he were a person. I say that as if Robbie Williams is not already a person in real life, but you know what I mean. There's so much going, and it's not even just the monkeys. Like, there's so much just going. Like, look up the visual effects breakdown for the Rock DJ sequence, and you'll just see how much visual effects are in that scene alone. Like cars will be CG, people will just be CG. It's like, even hell, it's so insane where like even like the posters for Robbie Williams that are like in the background, they didn't want to give away that Robbie Williams was going to be a monkey in the movie. So in post, that's when they replaced the posters with like CG Robbie Williams monkey. And it's like, good God, like there's so much visual effects in Better Man. It's genuinely very impressive. But again, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes should absolutely winning this. There is no film that is like objectively more groundbreaking in terms of visual effects than Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I don't know what it is about these movies. They always seem to like do something completely new and different each time that just blows me away. It's insane. And yet they're never winning any Oscars. I hate this. Why can't we just do this? And in case you want to know how I'd rank the other films, like I said, Planet of the Apes, Better Man, Dune Part 2, Alien Romulus, and then Wicked. Alien Romulus genuinely impressed me with its visual effects. Like, it was mainly the scene at the end where like the ship was crashing into like this planet's rings. There's so much particles going on, shiny particles, and I know it's weird, but it's like when you look at that, it's like a rendering nightmare. So it's like that shit genuinely impressed me. And the shots go on for a long time, so that makes it even harder to pull off. So yeah, Wicked is like number 5 for me. Again, it's very like just good, like it's very good work. You know, it's kind of like a jack of all trades kind of visual effects movie. There's like pretty much almost every kind of visual effects going on in there. Nothing really groundbreaking, which is why I would not give it the win. But there's still a lot more going on in Wicked than something like, you know, Gladiator 2 or movies that I just feel like have mistakes in terms of visual effects like Mufasa. So yeah, sound is interesting because this should not be one category. This should be 2 categories: sound editing and sound mixing, which sucks. But still, we have A Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. The substance isn't here, which hurts, but with that out of the way, I think I would just go with Dune Part 2 here. The sound in Dune is fantastic, and I'm not gonna lie, even if the substance were here, I would very much have a hard time deciding which one should win best sound. Like, if there were sound editing and sound mixing, it's interesting. Which would I go with? Maybe best sound editing would go to Dune Part 2 and sound mixing would go to The Substance? Maybe? It's very strange. But yeah, still, Dune Part 2 wins best sound in my vote. Then, we get to original score. The nominees are The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. You know, no Saturday Night, which sucks, but, you know, not a bad category, although not a lot of this is going to be, like, particularly, like, stuff that I'm going to remember that much. Although, at the same time, Conclave, I don't know, Conclave is a very memorable score, like, dun 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 dun. Like, it's, like, all over the film, and especially, like, the afterlude, like, I don't know, like, the credits music. I really like the credits music in Conclave. And I'm not gonna lie, Wicked has a very, very good score, too. But people are like, what? It's not, why, but it's not original. It's like, it's weird. The score in Wicked is weird because, like, they had to expand the first act of Wicked, like, to 2.5 hours. And so there's a lot of gaps where you're probably not going to have any music. And if what I was listening, because I listened to the score soundtrack, and if what I was listening to was original, which I have friends who have seen the Wicked stage show, and it's like, yep, that's not in the stage show. That's just, a lot of that is original music. Then all right, fair enough. That'd probably be like number 2 for me. But still, I'm gonna go for Conclave because that is like the score that just sticks in my head throughout the rest of the year. Original song, we have El Mal from Emilia Perez, The Journey from the 6888, Like a Bird from Sing Sing, Mi Camino from Emilia Perez. And Never Too Late from Elton John, Never Too Late. Oh boy, I'm gonna sound like a very big, I don't know what, a big what, maybe like stupid? I don't know. I'm gonna go with El Mal here. Look, I do kind of like the song. I do really like the beat of the song and the way everything kind of goes like, it's kind of cool. I kind of like blending, instrumental orchestras with rock music. It's like kind of cool. So yeah. Then we get to animated feature film, and the nominees are Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. You just swap out Inside Out 2 with Look Back, and you have a perfect animated feature category. This is kind of tough because I really love Flow, I really love Memoir of a Snail, I really love Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and I really love The Wild Robot. But I might go with Flow. It's really tough. Actually, it's really tough between Flow and Wallace and Gromit. Because Wallace and Gromit might be one of the funniest movies of the year. Like, holy shit. I was laughing my ass off. It was so funny, man. Like, the Norbots and, what was it? Like Feathers McGraw. Oh my god, I'm not even that big a fan of Aardman. Like, I like Aardman's films, but I don't love them. I love Vengeance Most Foul. This one was so funny. But I probably might go for Flow because, I don't know, so it's a very cozy film. And it's also just immediately sympathetic. So I really, really loved Flow. I'm gonna go with that. International feature film, we have I'm Still Here, The Girl with the Needle, Emilia Perez, The Seed of the Sacred Fig, and Flow. Funny enough, I would also go for Flow here. Flow, again, it just stuck out to me more than all the other films here. Even though I'm Still Here is great, I just happen to really, really dig Flow, so I'm gonna go with that. And then finally, we're gonna be talking about Best Documentary Feature Film, and easily this would go to No Other Land. I just actually watched it not too long ago, and this film, oh god, this movie will shake you. This is one of the most sad films to watch of the year. Like, oh god. And again, very good message in there about what's going on in the West Bank. It is just, it's heart-wrenching. It is absolutely heart-wrenching. And those are my picks for the Academy Awards if I were an Oscar voter. Now, I'm going to pass the question off to you. What would you vote for if you were an Academy voter? Let me know in the comments below what you think. And also, don't forget, tomorrow, Sunday, probably almost right before the Oscars, I think I'll probably try to do it at 5 p.m. At 5 p.m. tomorrow, I am going to do an Oscars pre-game show. We're going to be talking about any last-minute, predictions, or last-second predictions, I should say, and just getting ready for the big night, the Academy Awards. Really excited for that. And so, yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure you hit that subscribe button, because if you don't, the Oscars will never air again.